Last night, about 11:15 p.m., Boston Police received multiple calls from members of the community relative to an individual creating a disturbance by assaulting multiple victims in the area of 2 Howell Terrace in Dorchester. One individual reported the suspect was armed with a large wooden stake, but in one instance, the suspect attacked a citizen walking home with a wooden stake, causing injury and a laceration to his face. In another incident, the suspect aggressively punched a citizen's motor vehicle and proceeded to chase that citizen's vehicle down the street, banging on the windows. Officers responded to this scene about 11:30 and observed the individual matching the description of the suspect given out by the civilians. Officers immediately gave verbal commands for the suspect to drop the weapon. The suspect originally ran from the officers, but then stopped suddenly and, armed with a wooden sharp stake, turned and confronted the officers aggressively with the wooden stake, stabbing at one of the officers, striking the officer in the lower abdomen. Officers again issued numerous verbal commands for the suspect to drop the weapon. Additionally, officers backed away from the suspect to create distance for their safety, at which point the suspect raised the large wooden stake above his head and lunged at the officer's head and chest area. It was at that point the officer, having no other choice, discharged one round, striking the suspect in the right leg. The suspect was immediately given medical attention and taken to a nearby hospital, where he remains in critical condition. The suspect is identified as Edwin Guidi. He's a 22-year-old male who resides on House Street in Dorchester. The suspect is known to the police. There have been numerous calls over the last several years for assaultive and emotionally disturbed behavior, which warranted numerous responses over the past several years from the police. At this point, the investigation shows the officers had no choice but to discharge his weapon to prevent this violent individual from assaulting additional police officers and civilians who were in the area. It is never an easy decision for a police officer to discharge his weapon. The preliminary investigation, which includes numerous community member statements, indicates the officers acted properly in conformance with the Boston Police Department's department rules and regulations. Our thoughts and prayers are with the suspect and his family. We hope for a full recovery, but at this time, our concern also is our officers' safety. Both officers went to Tufts New England Medical, and they were treated, and both have been released. So, we were dealing with someone who clearly had emotional issues, has a strong emotional and assaultive behavior in the past, and unfortunately, the officers had no other choice. Again, it's never an easy decision. It's one of the toughest ones we ever make, and we have a great history of having great restraint. But in this particular decision, with my officers' lives in danger, they fired just one round at the suspect, striking him in the leg. So that's a brief overview.